The hidden cost of ignoring your fitness. Now I get it. Most clients come to me as an online coach for over 9 years, wanting to feel great by a holiday or their wedding or an event or a certain birthday. And that is nothing wrong with that. I am all for the superficial goals. Doesn't make you superficial to have those goals. I think it's actually really important. And for most people, those are the things that are going to get you into health and fitness. But for some people, it is important that you should just be thinking long term. Your goal shouldn't be anything like losing weight by a certain date or anything else. It should be long term. Now, I think whatever is going to get you eating better, moving more, making healthier choices is great. Whether that is the sexy, fun goals of your wedding or anything like a birthday or whatever it might be, or abs, whatever your goal is, or if it is thinking about long-term health. But there is a hidden cost to not caring, and there is a hidden cost to not making changes. And it's not as sexy as like feeling lean and shredded by summer, but it is important. Number one, as an online coach for over 9 years, most of my clients now are mums. They are busy, they are time poor, and so many of them want to be able to keep up with the kids. They want to be stronger for the kids. Their kids are young and they're getting strong and quick fast. My youngest stepdaughters can literally already run like absolute rings around me, and it's important that we can keep up with them. We have the energy to keep up with them. We feel good to keep up with them. We're a better mum. We're a better human. We're a better wife. We're a better everything because we have more energy as well, because we have something in our life for us. That is really important, and that can be what health and fitness is for a lot of people. For me, I am a much better human being. I'm a better stepmom. I'm a better wife. I'm a better dog mum. I'm definitely a better business owner, and I'm 100% a better coach when I've done something for me. And most of the time, that something is just exercise. It's a run, or it's a workout, or it's Pilates, or something. It's something for me. It's that little moment, not every day, but a few times a week, that is just for me. Number one, that. Number two, our health, what we do in our 30s, our 40s and our 50s is going to set us up for our 70s, our 80s, our 90s. And it is really important that we invest. And I talk about the investing analogy, number one, because I think financial literacy as women is very important and more of us should be investing. But number two, because what we do now is going to impact us later. There are so many diseases that are linked to poor health that we built decades ago. And don't get me wrong, not everything in our health is in our control. And I completely get that. But if you have a choice between ignoring your health now and paying for it later and trying to be the healthiest, best version of yourself now, which will help you now and also could potentially literally give you years more of quality life, why wouldn't you do that? Leaving it at that. Aging is inevitable. Decline is mostly optional. Again, there are things that obviously we can't look at. So what future-proofing your health means, it means like physical health. So it means obviously being lean, being fit, being strong, but it doesn't mean shredded with a six-pack. It doesn't mean necessarily looking a certain way. It means being at a healthy body fat percentage, having good cholesterol, having a good lower heart rate, having more muscle mass, all of those things. It's also your cardiovascular fitness. A lot of women who get into strength training start to ignore some of their cardiovascular fitness. Having both is really important. It's going to help your heart, your brain, your long-term blood health as well. Balance and mobility is a big one. A lot of us don't think that is very sexy, and I kind of get it. As someone that used to be a big yogi but isn't really anymore and isn't very flexible, I do understand that it's often put to the back, but actually balance and mobility can save your life later. It's more commonly women, because of our low bone density, which I'll get to in a second, that have falls that end up us breaking bones, not being able to get up off the floor, and having serious consequences from that. And it's really important, therefore, to work on your balance and your mobility. And then obviously metabolic health. One thing that I think GLP-1s are going to damage for the long term is metabolic health. There's a few other things like our skin, our hormones, our digestion, our hair, all of those things. But I think a big one is metabolic health. If you are chronically using GLP-1s or any sort of things like that, fat burners, if you're chronically yo-yo dieting, if you're doing harsh diets, you're actually having a negative impact long-term on your health. And again, we all just think of like feeling great for Ibiza or feeling great for our wedding. And there's nothing wrong with those things. I've done harsh cuts, I've done bodybuilding shows, I've done photo shoot preps. Like I have dieted harshly, but I've done it safely. And there's a big difference between constantly yo-yoing, never giving your body a break, never recovering properly, looking after yourself in between those phases, and just every single time having a cycle of binge and restrict, which obviously we don't want to do. Muscle is actually one of the biggest longevity tools. There are so many studies that show the more muscle we have, the longer we live. Again, obviously, there's not a direct correlation, but there's a huge correlation. So I don't know about you, but I want to live a healthy life for longer. So building muscle now is important. And as we get older, it's harder to build muscle. You absolutely can, but it's harder. It's going to be easier to build a muscle in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s than it is in your 50s, 60s, 70s. So build it now, maintain it. And then I think it's really important to look back at things like your hormonal health. I had anorexia at the age of 14 until the age of 21, and I developed osteoporosis, which means I have low bone density and I'm at high risk of falling over. So one thing that got me into the gym was strength training and trying to increase my bone density and look after myself long term. And I haven't had DEXA scans since, so I do need to do that, but I'm pretty confident my bone health and my overall health is in a much better place. So thinking about these things long term and not wanting to do damage to our body that isn't very much irreparable or very hard to repair, and also setting ourselves up for future success is so important. Again, people around you are going to be watching. You might help by getting into health and fitness now. You might inspire others around you and save their life. You might inspire your best mate or your mum. My mum's only just got into exercise in her mid to late 60s, but if anyone asks, she's 21, of course. And it's been much harder for her to get into it because she's never had that before. She's had to build that now. And it's obviously there's more friction. She's older. She hasn't got that mobility or that balance that she once had. She's already had hip replacements. All those kind of things are limiters. Whereas if she had started at 30 and just maintained it, everything would have been easier. It is never too late. I've had clients when I worked as a PT almost 9 years ago who were in their 80s and they were incredible. Some of the fittest people in my run group are in their 70s. It's never too late to start, but looking at the long-term impact of not starting and not making changes and not investing into your nutrition and trying to get better with that, and not looking at your macros and making sure that your plate is well balanced and colourful, and not making sure that you're looking after your health as optimally as you can and moving more, and all of those things will have an impact later in life. So this is not to make anyone feel depressed. This is not to make anyone feel like the health is low outcomes are inevitable and they're gonna fall over and break a hip when they're older. Start strength training, whatever your age, and keep it going. Resistance training is going to build on muscle. It's going to help with things like bone density loss. It's going to help hormonally. There's so many benefits to strength training. Every woman should be doing it. In another video, I'll kind of go through supplements in more detail, but if you have any questions around that, please comment below and I'll message you directly. And if you are interested in weekly videos like this, I do 2 educational videos on health, fitness, getting you fitter, getting you leaner, meaner, and confident twice a week. And I also have daily tips and tricks on my other links, which are in the description. So check those out. We can all be healthier and happier for longer if we start now and we start making small changes. It doesn't need to be overnight, but it needs to be small, steady, and sustainable. And we need to think longer term, not just the next holiday, not just the next hen do, not just constantly yo-yoing up and down. It needs to be small changes that we can do for the next 2 years, the next 5 years, the next 30 years. And that is how we future-proof our bodies and our minds and our health. And we really invest into us, which is the only body we're ever going to get in this lifetime. So treat it with respect.